Namaste, dear ones. Welcome back to Labyrinth Butterfly. This is a late new moon reading for the Divine Feminine Collective. I apologize for not getting this out earlier today with the Divine Masculine, but I am dealing with the slowdowns and upheavals of Mercury retrograde, and so I'm just kind of riding the waves of that and allowing the divine to guide me on this reading so that I'm not feeling rushed. But it's actually a beautiful spread. The cards are pulled, and I'm going to sit down here and read with you all for a while. So I hope you're doing great, Divine Feminines. I hope that everybody tunes in and listens to this message, because there's really a lot of depth and wisdom that are coming through this reading, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So, as always, as I like to do with these readings, I'm going to start in the higher, and I will put all of the cards that are used in this reading down in the description box below. So, in the higher, I like to read with the dream of GAIA Tarot. So, we get the major arcana, the number 12 card, which is love. And I think this is really, really poignant that one of my soul sisters pulled this a couple of weeks ago while we were all sitting around her table and pulling cards, just for women, talking and divining and reading for one another. She pulled the love card out of her brand new Dream of Gaia deck, and it's nice to see her again. So here we have the angelic goddess of love with the two yellow butterflies and the gown of ocean, or to me feels like, very sacred waters of the earth mama. And she has the moon and the lotus in front of her, and her heart is beaming forth. So the underlying message for this love card is the Sage, also a major arcana, the number 7 card. So the Divine Feminine is really coming to her place of love from a very deep, spiritual, wise position at the start of this new moon in Pisces. Again, it's very interesting to see all the water around this goddess, because, we are entering this very watery, emotional, oftentimes turbulent sign of Pisces. But this sage in this underlying energy, I love this card. He has a wolf. He has a, flaming, cosmic, bright orange staff in his hand. He carries his owl on his right hand, on his arm, and he's cloaked in like this deep, velvety, purple red cloak. And his hair is white, and his beard is white, and so he's an ancient one, and he's really coming forth to say that, this is medicine. The Divine Feminine in the higher, she really is bringing down this new wave of love medicine to the collective, and this is her mission. This is her divine, goal. This is what's set in motion for the feminine, and she's really focused on it, and she's really, really in tune. So things are kind of coming in, Divine Feminines, for us to be aware of, really trusting these waves of love that are hitting us, different types of love that we're experiencing, to know that we have these wisdoms and we are downloading these things for everyone, and we are really starting to channel them in a major way, where Our words are important, our actions are important, our mission work is important. Like everything that we are giving as these sage beings, this energy that we're holding in the palm of our hands is important for the new earth to be birthed from this place of higher love, right? So the way I like to do these readings, if you haven't heard them before, is I'm trying to like kind of cascade the energy down from the highest point that is wanting to express to us today, down into the heart center of the Divine Feminine Collective. And in this heart center of the feminines is this really beautiful, interesting series of cards. We see 2 number 3 cards. We have a 4 of Wands, which is a union card. We have the Death card, and we have the 6 of Hearts. So the underlying energy is the 3 of Hearts, and this is a card of celebration in the Enchanted Tarot. And you have 3 ballerinas who are dancing and holding their hearts up to the sky, and they are, truly in their joy. They represent faith, love, and charity. Faith, joy, charity, love. These things are being expressed here. So the Divine Feminine's heart is really filling out. And the fact that we have these 2 number 3 cards, because the first card out was the 3 of Wands, which is the cherubs holding up the 3 wands, representing the past, the present, and the future. Also, all of the worlds, the emotional world, the physical world, the spiritual world, everything kind of aligning together and working together and holding itself up, representing kind of like the Trinity. So I really feel like the feminine divine Trinity, like the female collective is holding strong to its trine. The way these hearts are, with the bottom of the heart and the double-sided heart up in the sacred geometry of the Merkaba, we have the feminine and the masculine divine. So the 2 triangles opposite one another, and the feminine triangle is the 1 point to the earth and the 2 points up. So I always think about that with the Divine Feminine, where it's like only one of our points is grounded in earth and the rest of us is kind of up in the higher. So when we think of ourselves as a divine, a whole, complete being, we have our feminine side, which kind of governs these things, like definitely rooting down deep into the earth, but then also coming up on the higher emotional and spiritual planes. So you see that same exact thing kind of being depicted in the picture with the 3 of Wands, where the wands of the cherubs are kind of pointed in this upside down triangle formation. So the 3 of Wands, and then moving directly into the 4 of Wands, which is flow. It's going from one consecutive number to the next. It's in order, it's in alignment. So the 3 of Wands, the opportunity card, being followed by the 4 of Wands, which is a completion. So it's the completion card. And I want to just point out that with the opportunity of the 3 of Wands card, we have a message here for the Divine Feminines to become more aware of the opportunities that exist for you right now. So right now, there are things coming up in the Divine Feminine Collective's world that are interacting directly with their hearts, with their heart space. There are people coming in, there are soulmates coming in, there are soul family being presented or revisiting. The divine feminine is starting to open her heart into this ideal space of love, right? Coming down from the higher. And this new awareness is starting to take place. So it's really important for the divine feminine to take advantage of being more open-minded, learning how to cooperate with other beings that are coming into their storyline right now, and not pushing that away, because once we start doing this and really start working together, not sitting around and waiting for this contrived sense of love that we may have been pining for, right? Because a lot of divine feminines kind of sit around and think a lot about their divine masculines and wonder how their heart is going to be fulfilled and complete with or without them, right? But by recognizing the opportunities that are presenting themselves in the heart, mind, and the action of what's going on around them, it's like this spontaneous combustion is able to happen in the heart of the divine feminine right now. And I don't know about the rest of the collective, but I've been experiencing some pretty intense heart chakra openings, some really cleansing experiences, a lot of crying, a lot of purging, having old flames and loves and, dear friends come back into my life. Also having, realizations about my soul family and how connected I am to them, and that is, something that I actually put up and talked about on a video, and I'll throw that link in here while I'm talking about this now, because it's a really great talk about, not just taking this twin flame journey as you and one other. It's really much higher than that. It's much deeper and wider and broader of a stroke than that. So you can check that out if you want to go a little bit deeper with those concepts. But for now, let's move into the Four of Wands. So then you have these two beings, which are depicted in the Enchanted Tarot as being husband and wife. There's, a male form and a female form, back to back, grounded, rooted in their strength. There's a tree growing up behind them with two songbirds, and their wands are rainbow wands. Okay, so there's nothing that's breaking this union. There's nothing that is able to penetrate it in the heart of the divine feminine. So the divine feminine is really attaining her equal balance of divine feminine and divine masculine energy within. And she's also, for many divine feminines, holding the divine union in her heart. That could also be a message here for a lot of people. So this card really speaks to the need to acknowledge and to celebrate the completion of an important course of actions. So a lot of the divine feminines have and we are going through this shift in our heart and our understanding of what love is and how we need and desire love to come into our lives. So we're really being able to give thanks for supportive friendships and good things that are coming into our lives. And that is happening for a lot of feminines right now, because we've been on this journey of really self-centered focus and practice and healing and working very hard in the physical, deciding that we no longer need to be sitting around and waiting for the masculine energy to come in. We're just becoming our own masculine energy, and that force has driven us into self-union. So I really see this card as the feminine being in her power and in her self-centered union right now. But then we have the Death card that comes through, and I feel like what's going on with this Death card is it's not like a major tower moment or something. It's just a realization. And that realization for the feminine is that, you know, there is this new beginning and this new understanding of how her heart feels in I want to say cooperation for some reason with other beings that she is in harmony with. Okay? So, and I've had conversations with other sisters about this, and some soul brothers. You know, it's just when you're around people that you resonate with, it's like you go through this transformation, you go through this shedding of your old way of looking at love, and just all you can do is be more loving, you know, and all you can do is be in this playful joy, this abundant joyfulness of the Six of Hearts, which is like these children who are playing and carrying one another in a basket. And I mean, it's like this giving love. So the divine feminine has come to a point where she's no longer viewing love as something that she needs to take. She just needs to keep giving love. And when she's giving love, she's receiving everything that she needs because she is love. And, you know, the power in that is something that it's like, I really even truly believe that the divine feminine is just let go, you know, because we have in the next tier down, you know, in the physical, in the Robin Wood Tarot cards, you know, we see a lot of surrender coming. The first man is the first card out is the hangman, you know. So there's a surrendering that's happening, but it's because there's this transformation that's based on wisdom. Because the sage wisdom has helped the feminine to redefine, and really not just redefine it in her mind, but redefine it in her actions, her mind, her spirituality, her relationships, her unions, all of these things, her friendships. Everything has shifted for the feminines, you know, for the ones that are really doing their work. If this resonates with you, like, hear this now, because this is the lighthouse turning. So remember, with the divine feminine energy, we are the lighthouse. When the lighthouse turns, that light spins, right? And as it spins, it just illuminates the entire ocean. It illuminates everything out at sea, so that those that need to have a glimpse of what that light is can sense it. So the feminine has come around with this new realization of the heart, and this heart energy is just beaming out of her. And so then, you know, that brings us down into where the divine feminine sits on her throne as the Queen of Cups. And that's the underlying energy for how this is affecting the divine feminine energy in the physical 3D plane. So we have the underlying energy of the Queen of Cups. And this queen is very soft, very gentle, very giving, very loving. This is the mother, you know, she sits by the ocean, and she is full. Her cup is full. You know, her cup is full, and yet it also remains covered with a cloth. So she has enough to share, and yet she also is giving and saving enough for herself so that she can continue to offer this, you know, gentleness, this patience, this kindness, right? And I truly believe that it's not just what the feminine is putting out and what she's giving, because she is giving that, you know, even in relationships and unions in her work, maybe, right? And the work she's choosing to do and her mission and how she's reaching out to others selflessly, serving one another, like serving others and feeding others emotionally and spiritually. You know, this queen filled with insight, love, gentleness, she's giving that back to herself too. And she's been giving that to herself because, you know, she needed it and she needs it, and it's serving her well. It's serving her very well. So it's very good to see that, Divine Feminines. You know, people are doing their work, and that's really great. And so we're getting to a place where, you know, we have come into this sense of surrender, of choosing to see things from a new perspective, of hanging ourselves upside down and not being stressed out about that, but just allowing everything that's no longer needed to just wring out of ourselves. And then again, we see in the triangle shape of his legs that again there's the Trinity, you know, the feminine upside down energy, that she's exactly where she needs to be. And when I pulled out this card, the Hangman, the 9 of Swords flew out, but kind of off the table, and I looked at it and I said, wow, this doesn't really feel like it's appropriate for this reading, but it then I felt like this was a message for some Divine Feminines that, you know, there are feminines who are in a lot of anguish, who are feeling, you know, mentally really drained and tortured, and maybe having nightmares and things like this of the past, and you know, the pining over the Divine Masculines in some cases, you know, this kind of love, obsessive love, codependent love, that feeling that you just can't get it out of your head, right? And so for others, the potentiality of just being in your head about things, having like a really cerebral relationship with yourself, and or your counterpart. But then again, that felt like just for some, you know, or maybe something that people are moving away from because it kind of flew off the table. So the more this Queen of Cups energy is entering the heart of the Divine Feminine, and also the 3D of the Divine Feminine's life, you know, the more she's able to surrender and release and let that Hangman do his work in the spiritual space of the Divine Feminine, you know, accepting that there's change coming down, rolling this over into the 5 of Cups reversed. You know, also choosing to not be stuck in that space of mourning, of emotional loss, of focusing on what has, you know, spilled at your feet and everything that's not there for you or hasn't been for you. This is no longer the energy the Divine Feminine is carrying. She's giving up that perspective. And instead, she's looking for like inner truth. And she's choosing to change her point of view. She's choosing to accept that there's a higher love. She's choosing to accept that there are different ways to love. She's choosing to accept the relationships and the friendships and the soul family and, you know, these unions that are coming, and this playful energy, this harmony, in order to transform this old way, which is again showing up in the 6 of Swords, where not only is she emotionally complete with this 5 of Cups in reverse, she's also mentally moving forward And she's mentally choosing to get on that boat and to move forward alone. So in this particular tarot deck, there's only one figure in the boat. In the Divine Masculine card deck that I used, the Mystical Tarot, there is a family in the boat. So I think that's also significant that the Divine Feminine is choosing to think of herself first, and she's choosing to move forward because she's no longer in a stance of wanting to fight. She's no longer in a stance of waiting for that last battle. You know, the 9 of Wands reversed, you know, where this being has fought and fought and fought for, you know, this love, right? Has fought for love in a way that they thought they needed to fight for it. You know, again, this 9 mirroring this 9 of Swords energy, right? Where there's no longer this interest in the Divine Feminine's world to be miserable, to be pondering when the next battle is going to strike. She's done with that. It's complete, you know. I don't even think that she wants to get to the point where she's waiting for the 10 of Wands to arrive in the upright, you know, the overwhelm, the overload, the feeling of just like carrying all this weight by herself. She's no longer interested in even participating. It's like, I'm done. That's what my energy says. I'm done. Okay, I get it. I see the new perspective. I don't need to actually do that. Don't need to put myself in those positions. I can become the Page of Pentacles. I can be this smart, bright, brilliant, young energy that knows how to study and contemplate and work hard and provide for themselves. And there's sirens going off in the background as I'm saying this, you know, who's just got the movement and got the abilities to move and explore these new energies of love in ways that are going to be beneficial financially and supportive to the Divine Feminine. You know, underneath the card of joy with the 6 of Hearts and this kind of like inner child play, this dance of children. You know, the Divine Feminine has been in a very heavy place, you know, with this 9 of Swords energy. Like there's been a heavy run for a long time. And a lot of this has been chasing, you know, love that's been chasing after the Divine Masculine energy. And so there's a huge shift here in just not feeling the necessity to do that anymore. More like that love is so, because it's not like, I don't, from this reading, see the Divine Feminines saying, I'm done with you, Divine Masculine, you know, I don't need to run around after you anymore, I don't need to do this anymore. That's not the energy that this love is saying. This love is saying, I got this, I get it, I know that you're doing your work, Divine Masculine, I know that you're taking the time you need, or you know, going through all of the things that you're going through. I mean, please, if you haven't watched the Divine Masculine New Moon reading that was posted earlier today in the Divine Masculine Rising playlist, check that out. I will put a link to it somewhere in this video or at the end. So it's not that. It's not a running away from or a disconnecting or a severing. It's a surrendering. Okay, it's the hanged man. It's the surrendering to a new love, and that new love is being brought in by this very, very powerful sage energy, this medicine man, if you will, this owl wisdom, this wolf medicine, the wolf tribe, being able to be confident alone and yet knowing who your pack is, right? As my cats in the background start to meow. So yeah, your tribe is around you and your tribe is here for you. So let me just see. I'm going to turn my head here for a minute. Okay, so we're going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to go into some oracle cards. And for the Divine Feminine reading today, I pulled some from Archangel Michael. In a similar vein to the way I like to always allow the Divine Masculine to speak through the cards to the Divine Feminine, I wanted to ask for messages for the Divine Masculine from the Divine Feminine to come through. And the first card that came out was Eternal Love. So in the higher, again, mirroring this love card, the major arcana, we get eternal love. So the Divine Feminines are basically saying that their love is eternal. Within them, there is no way to escape from the knowing of the twin flame journey, of the energy of their divine counterpart, of their role. They know their role. They know their cadence in their role, meaning their flow and how it's all playing out. There's a deep trust in this eternal love. So Divine Masculines, don't feel like the Divine Feminine does not understand her role. Again, I feel like a lot of the Divine Masculine may be feeling like a lot of their abandonment issues are rising up around the strength the Divine Feminine is building on her own. But the underlying card for these messages is that you're on the right path. So the Divine Feminine here, I feel, is mirroring her Queen of Cups energy, where she's really giving the Divine Masculine the message that he is on the right path. We're all on the right path. Everything is happening for a reason, and all of it is in divine timing. So the Divine Feminines really understand this. And I love that this card is Archangel Michael, and he's holding the hand of a young child. So again, this is speaking to, following your inner child and really self-partnering with your child, your inner self, and building that relationship right now, and keeping your eyes on your target, on your targeted intention. This is a very Sagittarian card, with the bow and arrow and the angel coming from above. So the Divine Feminines are really saying to focus on your inner vision and your intention, and ask for guidance in releasing any fears and doubts, maybe potentially around this eternal love, and just finding confidence and courage to take action towards realizing your dreams. Right? Because that's what she's doing. She's keeping her eyes on the targeted intention. Forgive yourself. You did nothing wrong. So a lot of the masculines are going through this very intense heart recalibration, if you will. A lot of defeat and disappointment and pain. Okay? So again, you can read more about that or listen to more about that in the Divine Masculines New Moon reading. But the Divine Feminines are saying forgiveness. forgiveness of self. Know that this situation is already resolved, that the angels are stepping in. They are assisting each and everybody's inner child to do the healing that they need to do. A lot of the karmic situations that have been so prevalent in the masculine collective, I almost said society, I don't know, in the energy fields around the masculines, there is a lot of karmic resolutions coming up. So it's telling the divine femme, or divine masculines here, she's telling the divine masculine here that these situations are happening for a reason, and they're already resolved, and they're based around self-respect, because we get the self-respect card here. So she's aware of all of it, and she understands it, and she sees it, and she feels it, and she acknowledges it, and she's telling you that you're on the right path. I just picked up the deck, and be gentle with yourself was on the bottom, and it didn't come off the table. So be gentle with yourself, it's divine masculine. I'm going to put that right above the 9 of Swords here for the divine feminines, who also need to be gentle with themselves when, feeling that they're moving away from this old energy, this old love vibration, and not wanting to get stuck. So, speaking of stuck, some of the blocks that are coming up for the divine the divine feminines around this new moon energy, we get beginning now, taking your first steps. So, being brave enough to step out now, divine feminines, stepping away from that comforting feeling, because this reading is all about unconditional love and higher consciousness love, and this is an image of a person walking away from the traditional family, the wife and the children and the chickens and the farm, and he has a backpack and a staff, and he's walking down the path and waving goodbye, and he's not doing it aggressively. This card, I love this card because I feel like it speaks a lot to releasing the nuclear family in the heart and the mind and the spirit of our, society and of our global consciousness, that this is, the first and foremost important relationship that we will build forever and ever and ever in our lives. The divine feminine is seeing that this is not the paradigm that, or this is just not, it's not the most important love. It's in a sense, it was the original blueprint, and it has been for a long time. But this block is being removed from the divine feminine's mindset and from her heart, and she can see a different way. She's having to really clear the air, and she gets the distant thunder card in the Sacred Traveler Oracle. The divine masculines also got this at the end of their reading with these oracle cards, but the distant thunder card is really about clearing the air and letting go of these storms and these thoughts, and it comes up right next to that 9 of Swords again, above the Hanged Man, letting this past way of thinking about love relationships go, and really being in that Queen of Cups energy for the self, learning to navigate by the stars. I love this card, and this is totally a new moon card with a mystical traveler on the path, following the stars, following the moon, traveling by moonlight, okay? Following your bliss, divine feminines, following your heart, like really choosing to be around people who feel like star family, doing things that make you feel and grow in different ways with your love vibration, okay? And many divine feminines are coming up at an impasse with this, and an impasse in their lives in general, where they're having to like stop and reflect and totally redirect their energy. So this is kind of a big shift, and it's not, I don't think, going to be easy for very many feminines at this time, because Pisces moon, Pisces is a very tortured soul type of energy, and I don't mean that Pisces are tortured soul individuals, so please don't take that the wrong way. Pisces are very sensitive, and they really have a lot, they're kind of always chasing after themselves, with the two fish trying to eat each other's tails, So this is like that. It's like these two different forms of love that are chasing one another, like this codependent love and this habitual love, and then this hugely expansive love where it just feels like it just keeps growing and growing, and you can't really, stop that feeling. It can only get bigger and reach more people. And that is the lighthouse effect that divine feminines have, that we're turning on these really bright lanterns of light, and we're shining it out, and we're trying to get like a bigger picture of love. So this is also, a block. This card is a block too, because sometimes when you have the ability to view from the higher, from above, and to have the bigger picture, it's even harder to, explain it to other people who are not on that same wavelength, or, not want to like jump into things too quickly, because we also then get the fogged in card. And this message is to, go slow and take your time, right? So the divine feminines, especially ones like myself who have a lot of fire in their chart and in their energy, we're very passionate, and we're very driven by our understandings and experiences and feelings. So it's important to remember on this journey that when you're interacting with other people and, having a active relationship potentially with your divine masculine self / counterpart / mirror / soulmate / friends, whoever, try and resonate with those who resonate with you, and don't push your understandings on others. It's like, my feeling of light work is that all you can do is put out your light, and if it absorbs into others that are receiving it, beautiful. If it bounces off and rejects from them completely, or they can't accept it, or it becomes kind of a conflict, it just doesn't need to go there. You can just detach from that and allow the other person to have the space that they need, to have the time that they need, to really flow energetically in their own space, and focus on resonating with the ones that resonate with you, divine feminines, because your power right now is amazing. We have the warrior of the heart. We have the polar bear medicine. In the higher, for the divine feminines, we have the ancient forest, which is the ancestors, the deep-rooted trees, the deep, earth mama medicine. We have the circle of life energy. We have the tracker, and we have the tribal spirit dancer. So the tracker the tracker came out first. And I love these cards so much. The Native American, I always say that. It's like almost guaranteed that I call it the Native American Spirit deck. It is the Native Spirit deck. I so apologize. I can't stop doing that. I will stop doing that because I do catch myself more regularly. But I love this deck so much, and these cards are so powerful. So the tracker medicine, focus your intent and your passion on one thing rather than being scattered in different directions. Be single-minded in what's truly important in your life and let everything else go. Track the unseen but very real stream of energy that is which you desire. So this is really truly about now, Divine Feminines, tracking yourself, tracking your inner truth, your desire, your understandings of this sacred, sacred love. Okay, this twin flame love, if you want to call it that, this twin soul journey, this twin flame journey, this soulmate journey, whatever you want to call it, goddesses. Okay? Know that it's ultimately about reaching this warrior of the heart. It's ultimately about being that strong, of knowing how radiant your spirit is, that you are a warrior of light, that you be impeccable in all of your actions, Divine Feminines. No matter what others believe, the Creator always knows what's true. So this is also not a time to be timid and to pull back. Immense courage is filling you. This is the bear medicine. So this love is making the Divine Feminine so strong in her knowing, that her shoulders are thrown back. She's able to step forward. She's able to take risks. She is willing to live from her heart rather than from her mind. Her heart is leading, and she's honoring her truth, and she's speaking up for herself. So powerful. So powerful to have this, being at the forefront of this new moon phase for the Divine Feminines. And, it's just very, very, very beautiful. And for all of you goddesses who are, experiencing your moon, your sacred moon time on this moon, blessings to you, and healing and cleansing and releasing. And I hope that you are giving yourself the time to dream and channel and to do the things that the Divine Feminine is meant to do when she's in her sacred moon cycle of some say the month, but this isn't the same for everyone. So whatever your divine cycle is, if this is the time that you're on your moon, then take the time to really go within and to use that blood medicine to track into your soul, Divine Feminines, to go deep with those roots of your ancient forest self, There's immense support around you, Feminines. Immense support. You're grounded, you're stable, you're strong, and your spirit at the same time reaches high, high into the heavens. So the Divine Feminine is channeling this higher love down into the roots of the earth and back up again as she pulls her dress of, ocean water up to her chest, around her heart. Very, very intense. We get the Circle of Life card. So this energy is about all things being possible and standing in the center, in your center, and being open. So the four winds are bringing your dreams to fruition, Divine Feminine. Embrace and accept where you are in the great circle of life. Bounty and abundance are flowing to you. If you have had a relationship or financial challenges, things are about to change. This card is very green. There's a lot of lush spring grass growing. So this is the new moon leading up to the spring equinox, and I think that that's going to be a really big time of shift for the Divine Feminines. The collective she, has worked very hard through the course of the winter months, and I know a lot of Divine Feminines are really pushing for themselves, for their families, for their children, for their lovers, for their divine masculines, for their, businesses to grow, for all of these things to happen. And all of these things are happening. So look to spring, Divine Feminines, and make this the start of a new cycle. So let's go, sisters, and, bring this tribal spirit dancer medicine. Say yes to life. Say yes to living. Be daring. Dance to your heart's desire. Dance to your heart's desire. Unfurl your wings and fly. Cast aside conventions and restrictions and tune into the rhythms of life. Laugh, explore, go beyond your predictable behaviors. Sometimes life is messy and chaotic, and that's okay. Leave the dishes. Run outside in the sprinklers. Definitely pay attention to the flock of, tribal brothers and sisters and playmates and spirit friends and, soul lovers, if you will, that are flying around you and your creativity right now, Divine Feminines, because it's really important to live. It's important to live your life. It's important to live and not just to sit and wait, because we all have to go through different stages of our journeys and different stages of our development, right? And so when we come together with Spirit Family, and I'm not just speaking of our twin flames, I'm speaking of our spirit families, those people that are always going to be a part of our web of life. And again, please watch the video if you've listened this far into this one. Watch the video I made, which is a talk about twin soul families. And see if that resonates with you, because if this reading resonates with you, I feel like that one definitely will resonate with you. So lastly, feminines, I wanted to pull a Rumi oracle, because I really feel like the Divine Feminines do very well getting a direct message from the beloved. And I asked for a blessing, and I got the blessing of Al-Hakim. And this is a very, very short Rumi poem. Sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Cleverness is opinion. Bewilderment is vision. Rumi. And it reads, the gift of wisdom, the blessing of Al-Hakim, gurgles up from your heart. Her blessing is evoked by life, like the laughter of a babe, joyfully responding to the playful tickle of her mother's hand. Wisdom can make divine sense of anything, especially of that where logic is blinded. However, I revere the blessing of Al-Hakim, of wisdom, for she is precious and welcome to me now and always, the dear friend who brings me such peace. This card is a blessing of divine wisdom, Divine Feminines. This is our soul medicine right now. It's a spiritual gift of healing. It's prophecy, it's insight, and it's the capacity to surrender any impatient claim for what you cannot have yet. And that is the message of this new moon for the Divine Feminine, is that the knowing of the eternal love, of the sacred higher love, of that medicine, of the warrior of the heart, Divine Feminines. Know that in standing in your truth within your heart, you have already achieved union. By tracking yourself, by knowing where you stand in the circle of life, by standing in your sacred center, you've already received the blessings of Al-Hakim. You have received it because you're able to ground your energy into the earth at this point. You've become more comfortable in your masculine energy of taking action, right? Of being out in the world, of really grounding your Trinity energy deep into the roots of the earth, of digging in and then pulling that energy up and to meet you in the higher. So there's this open channel now for the Divine Feminines, and we are holding space. I truly feel as a collective, we are holding an immense amount of space right now. And I want to thank you, sisters, no matter what form you are in body, okay? Understand you as the feminine energy leading from your heart are creating a huge shift and a wave in the mass consciousness on this planet. And the divine masculines are learning to breathe and vibrate in that space that's being held. And it is shifting all of us. It is shifting everything. So I'm so grateful for all of you who are out there doing your work and holding yourself in your center. I truly love to work with divine feminine energy, and I do want to extend myself to anybody who feels like they want to go deeper into their journey. I am offering recorded readings. I do sliding scale if that's appropriate and is needed to help support my sisters and my brothers on their journey. I'm also, I would just say this. If you're interested in getting in contact with me because you feel drawn and you want to go deeper and I could be of service to you, find me in the description box below. I'm so honored to start this new moon cycle feeling so strong with this warrior of the heart, bear medicine at the center of this reading. We are all on the right path, and please remember that and stay in your sage wisdom, divine feminines. Track yourself to the end. This is our work. This is our journey. Believe that you're on the right path, and work with your collective. Find your soul family. Love them. Practice unconditional love with them. Be in your highest self and be that lighthouse and continue to shine. I love you, dear ones. I will look forward to the next reading, and please keep in touch with me and keep following on Instagram for more updates on all things Labyrinth, Butterfly, and beyond.